Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gelner News Network. I'm your host, Tasty Life, filling in for Link's Titan, who's at the grocery store buying lasagna. Our top stories tonight include Jmod corruption, RuneScape's newest skill, and a prayer book with potential to bring years of power creep in one update. It's been quite a week for old school, hell, quite a few months. Following aggressive plans for growth laid out in early 2023, old school RuneScape is now seeing itself at nearly 100,000 concurrent players, up from 55 this time last year. Safe to say, RuneScape is thriving, but are the past few tumultuous weeks in old school putting that all at risk? The community has been in turmoil recently, not only with accusations of Jmod corruption, but fighting over a new skill and a prayer book that many argue is far too broken. Let's go ahead and kick it off with that prayer book, aptly named the Ruinous Powers. Functioning similarly to a spell book, this new prayer book will replace your standard prayer book, forcing players to choose between the two. Now, after beta testing this for a few days, we began to see a few clips like this pop up. Nope. What the hell is going on? Now, obviously this is an unintended mechanic. Shocker that Jagex let that one slip through the cracks. But, to be fair, that is indeed the purpose of beta testing. This, however, is not the main issue with the Ruinous Prayers. Now let's go ahead and give an overview of what each of these does so we can talk about what this prayer book got right and what they did wrong. And as always, thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. Now, if you're unaware, HelloFresh is a premium meal kit company that sends fresh and perfectly portioned ingredients straight to your door. Now, in my opinion, the best thing about HelloFresh, hands down, is just how good the food actually is. I'm not much of a chef, I will be honest, but I always surprise myself with how good the meal tastes by the time I'm done with it. It's a W. Another huge benefit is the sheer variety of meals they offer on the site, so you pretty much never get bored. And on top of that, I always keep all my meal cards just so I'll have recipes for the future. That's a lot of fun. That's pretty sick. It's like my own little cookbook. And last but not least, it is definitely cheaper than grocery shopping and up to 25% cheaper than takeout. What's not to love? So use my link or go to hellofresh.com and use the code POGTASTYAPR50 for 50% off, plus the first box will ship free. Once you click, my description will live update to count up the purchases. Thank you again to HelloFresh. Fundamentally, these prayers are going to be a direct DPS upgrade from our standard prayer book. Decimate, Annihilate, and Vaporize are going to be our new offensive overlords, offering 7% increased strength in ranged and melee and 4% in magic. But as a trade-off, the defensive bonuses from our old prayers are going to be completely removed. That is 25% down the drain. That might not sound like a lot, however, it certainly adds up. Now, DPS-wise, this is about a 2-year jump in power creep for approximately a 2-hour quest. I don't think this is completely out of line, however, because I personally do not fear power creep, I only fear women. The basic idea of this new prayer book is high risk, high reward. Now, when this really goes awry is when it comes to what that risk is. You see, because our new overhead prayers have everybody's favorite feature, chip damage. Oh my god, I'm looking at the audacity. That does not look good. I'm really sorry you had to listen to that. We didn't like it at Nex. We don't like it at TOA. We don't like it at Nightmare. We have never once enjoyed chip damage. Please, Jagex, make it stop. Now, I do think chip damage is acceptable in very niche cases, such as in rage phases. Think Verzik Phase 3. It's an excellent time to add pressure to the fight, add a sense of urgency and finality. In 99% of cases, however, chip damage only serves to make a fight less enjoyable. Now, several high-level theory crafters have weighed in on the new prayer book. Let's go ahead and listen to the opinion of Molgoat Kirby.
How's it going? One word to describe a new prayer book. Only one, not two. I'm gonna say, broken. In all ways. Brokenly bad and brokenly good, brokenly mid. It's brokenly everything. We got the bad, the good, the mid, the dead content, the overpowered content. It's got a little of everything.
Well said, Kirby. Reddit's favorite player, Adicon, has also weighed in, more or less rebuilding this prayer book from ground up. His suggestions include removing chip damage in favor of increasing damage when you get your overhead prayer wrong. Also, reworking the immense prayer drain that appear to come with these new prayers. He has also commented on the generally silly state of the other prayers, but I'll go ahead and link his video down below if you'd like to watch that, which I would highly recommend. He's got some great suggestions. Mr. Sater, host of the infamous Sebe podcast, has also weighed in saying that we should scrap this prayer book completely. He stated that it is fundamentally too broken to be brought into the game. Instead, he says that only a few new prayers should be released into the standard prayer book tied into the bosses from Desert Treasure 2. His video will be linked down below as well. Now, regardless of your stance on the new prayers, I think that most players can in fact agree that these need major work. But of course, we must ask the people. If you have input on the new prayers, feel free to comment them down below, but please remember to keep it civil. Now, before our top story of the night, I would be remiss if we did not go over RuneScape's newest skill. For those who are new or returning players, RuneScape is rolling out its first ever new skill in history. First, Jagex allowed the players to vote on whether or not we wanted a skill, which, to no one's surprise, passed because people vote yes to almost everything. The second phase, Jagex put forward 3 skill proposals, including shamanism, taming, and sailing. They allowed players to select one to go forward with, and of course, sailing won. Sailing is a fucking meme, please, let it die. This segment is sponsored by Team Shamanism. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read the new skill proposals because I can't read. But shamanism sounds really cool, so that's why I voted for that one. Some people are afraid of a new skill ruining old school RuneScape. I'll be honest, I'm gonna say that's a pretty low chance. Take a look at our other skills: fishing, herb lore, mining. Those skills are not fun, and they don't need to be. All they need to do is hold the attention of a depressed 24-year-old for 2 to 3 hours per evening. Now, on to the story I'm sure you're all excited to hear about. Our top story of the night, Jmod corruption. Heavy accusations have been levied against Jagex anti-cheat specialist Mod Trident by streamer Odablock. Following a tumultuous week for the streamer, including the disbanding of his group Hardcore Iron Man team, Odablock was stricken with 2 permanent account bans. Both of these were applied for account servicing, and the alleged offenses took place over 2 years ago. The timing on this is raising a lot of eyebrows, however. You see, Odablock recently formed a deathmatching CC in-game to rival one of the biggest that is currently in place. Now, why is that weird? Well, this is where it gets juicy. The owner of that rival deathmatching clan appears to be dating a Jmod and utilizing his Jmod powers to subdue dissenters and scam people for real-world trade purposes. This RWD cartel could potentially be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, Odablock has released several videos detailing all of these allegations, which I will link below if you would like to watch. Now, I went back and forth many times about including this segment in Galanor News Network. A drama channel is very much something I would like to avoid becoming, which is why I'm going to be very measured in what I say here. I would not speak here if I felt like my words had nothing more to contribute than stoking the flames. There are 2 main reasons that I would like to bring this up. Number 1, if these accusations are true, which I'm not saying they are, I will leave that up to Jagex's internal investigation, this will be arguably a larger corruption scheme than even Mod Jed. If the community has truly been leeched off of this for who knows how long, then we have a right to know. At this point, Jagex seems like they'll be forced to make a statement, although so far it's been radio silence. Whether or not they disprove all of the information, they bring new information to light, or they confirm our fears, the people deserve an answer, Jagex. When are we gonna get one? The second, of course, is that I would like to remind the public that every single person involved in this, be it Odablock himself, the Jmod, YouTube commenters, other content creators, whoever it might be, is a living, breathing human being with thoughts and feelings, and you should act accordingly. It is very easy to become reactionary and let your words turn venomous. What's not easy is understanding that situations and people are very complicated, and rarely are they black and white. There is almost certainly more information that all of us are not aware of that could be affecting this situation. I think it's important to ask yourself before giving input on a situation, what exactly am I achieving by putting this forward? What do we want? What is our end goal? Now, hopefully your end goal is to make the RuneScape community a better and safer place for everybody. If you are simply angry and you're acting out of a will to make someone else feel bad, I promise that will help nobody. Whatever the case, make sure you continue arguing with the guy on Twitter who has 0 followers. I'm sure you'll achieve great things. Oda has also stated that he will no longer be playing RuneScape until Jagex puts forth a statement. On top of that, Odablock is offering a $5,000 donation to charity if Jagex can prove that he did in fact service his main account, Omar. Being that Mr. Odablock is in fact the most watched RuneScape creator across all platforms, I feel as though Jagex's hand is fairly forced in this matter. Will there be justice for Odablock? Hopefully, we find out soon. For Gellitor News Network, I'm your host, Tasty Life. Remember to stay tasty.